are you? Finally, to see you in person. This looks gorgeous where you are.
I know that's my mom's flower garden. Just a part of it. It's amazing, really.
It's birch trees in the back, like the white trees are birch trees, right?
But it's huge. It's like huge, huge, huge.
Are you near some water? Is there like a lake?
We have lakes of, I don't know, 500 meters.
Okay.
So it's
It's
not,
very, I mean,
and it's a lot of lakes around us. You know, we can go a little bit, far away or just near. And you are?
you look gorgeous. You look so tanned. Your skin is like a peach. It must.
And look.
Yeah.
Advertisement. That's.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
God, can you imagine? That's totally.
Those are from your garden.
Uh-huh.
Are you gardening?
I am.
Are you? You are?
Yes, I am. My mother, she is. Yes, we have potatoes. We have tomatoes. We have cucumbers. We have flowers. A lot of flowers. Roses.
Let me go show you. I've just been in the tree for like 2 hours, and it's cherry. I've got this huge cherry tree, and it's like on top. It's like really huge because I never cut it.
Mm-hmm.
So the birds get all the stuff on top, and I've just walked around it for like an hour, and I can show you. It's in the back in the garden.
Uh-huh.
There's the rose tree, and Daniela is getting ready to do some exercise. Yeah, we are about 1 hour west from the city,
Mm-hmm.
and we got really, really lucky because, I mean, with the Corona lockdown.
This is your home? This is your house?
It's the family. Yeah, it's my house. It's my, my dad bought it 20 years ago,
mm-hmm.
more than 20 years ago. And when he died, I took it over.
Mm-hmm.
About 6 years ago. I've had it now. And it's never been more, useful than in this time. It's been like, I've been in the country for 3 months, going back into the city once a week, but it's kind of reversed. For the first time ever since I finished school, it's like for the first time in 40 years, I've spent the month of March, April, May in the country. The last time I did that, I was 17, 18. I spent all these decades, of course, I went to visit the country, but never that stretch of time. So that's major difference for me. And how far are you from Vilnius?
40 kilometers.
Oh, so it's also the same thing. It's like an hour.
Yeah, it's like almost an hour.
And how much time do you spend out there?
My parents live there right now because of the virus. Not just because of the virus. It's just beautiful. It's huge.
Yeah, of course.
It's a forest, and it's really warm in Lithuania right now, almost 30 degrees. Really
yeah, same here. It's totally humid. It's like sweaty. Mm.
But it began from this March because they had to stay, and that's the best
same here.
Stay because in the city they have a flat. Why? We can't visit them. They can't visit us. But we started visiting them in April because we want to be in the nature. It's terrible to sit. It's crazy.
And how about your son?
My son is either with me or either with his father, and he just finished school, kind of.
Yeah.
With this distance, and he's ready for holiday.
Yeah, that's the one thing for me that our 8-year-old Iago, he's obviously suffering from not spending enough time with his,
Yeah.
you know, age group. It's
Mhm.
just so important. And for everyone, of course, for all of us,
Exactly.
it's important.
That's the same.
But the younger the kids are,
Mhm.
the more evident it becomes, you know,
Mhm.
that we are, after all, we are social animals, and we're tactile. We need to engage in
Mhm.
with each other. And
Yeah, but you know, the problem I noticed with him, with my son, he's almost 13. He wants me right now after the virus and this isolation, he wants me to become his friend, to be 13 years old.
yeah, right, yeah.
You know, it's impossible all the time. I can be quite crazy, you know, but I mean, I can't be 13 years old. I can be 23, but not 13. It's just
There are limits, even
there.
with the talent. Yeah, even with a lot of talent.
Exactly.
There. Yeah.
Are we
Do
recording?
you
Or?
do you dream differently? I mean, do you feel? I mean, you spent more time outside the city, I guess. So you've been pretty much
No,
out there for.
that I wouldn't see that because you remember, we finished, we couldn't perform. I
Yeah,
came back to Lithuania and I got this terrible isolation because I was from other country, and it was just terrible experience to come back here because the flights were gone. I waited for
it
3 days.
was so complicated to get out of Berlin, wasn't it? It took ages.
Yes, yes, yes.
I remember.
3 days.
Yeah.
We were waiting and waiting and waiting. Then I came back and I couldn't meet my family. That was a huge shock. I couldn't spend my time with my son or with my husband because I had to isolate myself alone.
For how long? For how long?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I went crazy, of course. Come on. You know, I can't I can't close myself because quarantine is not, it's not much difference for me because I live very close life. But to close yourself alone, nah, it wasn't
Right.
natural. It was crazy. It was dark weeks, dark weeks, you know.
And you had to stay in your apartment?
Uh-huh. And my husband took the food for me. It was so surreal. It was so surreal. I almost forgot it because, it seems it takes so much time, but I forgot it already. I started to, take these
Yeah.
memories because it's just crazy. It's
But isn't
unnatural.
that but
It's
isn't it
unnatural
amazing how
for a human being.
say again?
It's unnatural for human being.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
unnatural. It's just you have to close yourself. You have to not to hug, not to kiss, not to love, not to move, not to, it's so unnatural for me. Such a passionate person, it's impossible. It's crazy.
But now that's all gone, right? It's like a memory. It's like so fast. This is behind you, and now I mean, if something like that happens, I mean, I
Hmm.
can't imagine because I've never been in weeks. I cannot imagine. It's a bit like in prison. I've been
Hmm.
to prison for one night, I remember, but not for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but 2 weeks, yeah, it's isolation, and then it starts, this masks on the faces, not meeting, not knowing anything, for the future. Everything stopped. Everything. If we talk about music, our performances, our show, our tour stopped. Just one thing. But for me, also movies stopped. Everything, just nothing. But it was great experience for me. Really, it was a great experience to understand again what is important and what's not. That's true.
And you know what I find amazing is that within this time, we had the 75th anniversary of the end of the war, and for
Hmm.
some reason, this time it was so big.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a different event. We remember we played at the concentration camp. Now that was the beginning of it, to really
Yeah.
look at
Mm-hmm.
again. I mean, of course, in school and as you go up, you kind of learn about this. You read about it. But at my age, with all my 57 years and my kids, I'm a different man now. I'm at a different place. And
What did you do when everything started? Because, okay, I was in isolation. I'm in Lithuania. I had to travel. It was crazy. It was hell. But yeah, if we could remember this March, we came back to Berlin, and then what did you do? What did you do?
pretty Yago turned. There was a big event anyway, which was the birthday of my kid,
Mm-hmm.
March 18. So the family was meant to come together anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And we had already interrupted the tour. I told Ollie
Yeah.
that I couldn't play on March 18.
Mm-hmm.
So we were all anyway planning to come together here in the country.
Mm-hmm.
There was so it was a pretty much smooth thing because all the kids came,
Mm-hmm.
and then basically we stayed. We stayed. Baki and Polly, they stayed for 2 weeks. Then they went back to Berlin, and school stopped altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Everything stopped.
Yeah.
Then it was about money
Mm-hmm.
and how to live.
Yes.
And I tell you one thing that really was amazing to find,
Uh-huh.
that the city of Berlin and the government of Berlin actually showed that they care. Like totally out of the blue. They actually showed that they have an idea of
Mm-hmm.
what contribution
Mm-hmm.
people in the creative world, either in all kinds of ways, but the contribution they make to what it is that makes Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
That was, and there was also for me on the personal side, the guy that really translated the mentality and the requirements that freelance musicians and artists have. The guy that translated this to the powers that be is an executive. He used to be a music executive, and he turned a politician. His name is Tim Renner, right? And I had a big fight with him because he messed up the whole Berlin theater world, and he gambled on the wrong horse, let's put it that way, for years, right? So I think he took this as an opportunity to actually make good something with the Berlin artists, and we all were able to get a grant, or not even a grant. It's actually a support. We're not really meant to pay it back. In other words, which is kind of crazy, unheard of. But that's I think for a lot of us that was a big relief.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these people actually started enjoying some time off to relax and to write and to because obviously it might sound really corny, but we are in a continuous survival struggle as artists, continuously. And for some of those Berlin artists, that those 5,000, which was not a small amount of money, actually meant a bit of a break, a bit of a Corona break.
Yeah.
And I know of colleagues of mine who started, really getting deeper into their work and took the time off, because obviously the world outside doesn't run fast-paced anymore. It's actually, everything, the whole economy has been moved into a garage, everything, the whole world has moved into a garage. Now it's about getting out of that garage again. And that's, I'm in a way, I'm more insecure now than I was when it all started.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but you know, we're talking about going back on tour, but it's you know, we have meetings with Ben and Ollie. Yeah, this kind of thing has become almost like a twice, 3 times a week. I'm having these kind of conferences,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really up in the air. I mean, how are we supposed to get back to be in one room? How is it going to be you know, back in the haptic world?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can't tell you. You know, because it's not that difficult for me. Money question is much more difficult, and I remember the moment when I came back and I called Oliver and I told my situation after 1 month, because sadly our government is not your government. I felt really bad, and all the artists felt really bad, and we pushed this information that the culture is also, come on guys, we are totally stopped, and we fight it of course a
Yeah.
little bit, but it's a sad story, and I don't want to go deeper to this because it's not, it's really, it's sad for me. I mean, this understanding that culture in Lithuania, it's not that important as, I don't know, you know, and it raised so many questions for my friends and my husband, who's a director, for everyone, movie directors, actors, singers, writers. But this distance and coming and recording something and working in music, for me, it's not that, you know, difficult, because I always travel to you guys, you know. I just do my stuff and I just come and I do, and we do, I plan, but I always left. I always leave to do my own stuff because I'm an actor,
Mm.
you know what I mean? It's easy. I think somehow it's easier for me. And I always thought, how do you live? Because it's your life. You have to record, you have to do music. Because I have a possibility to do music because it was a gift. My profession is acting. That's where I struggle. And music was my alternative gift, you know. Now it's so precious for me, of course, because everything is gone. But music is even nearer, it's closer. But I thought about you, I don't know. I don't know, because I can take a camera and I can shoot something, or I can plan some alternative shootings for the future, read new scripts to discuss, and so on. But for you, it's your main profession. It's your main thing, what you do. I can't stop because I got
I'm
used to wait, you know? Actors, we always wait on set for hours, for weeks, for one role. So I'm used to be in this waiting position, you know, for months even, for project. But for you, I think it's really difficult.
well,
Just keep
I stopped. For me, it was really, and it's still a period of taking responsibility for my tribe,
mm-hmm.
so, and I was able to connect on a deeper level with the kids, because the kids really, they
Sure.
they can't. I mean, they're still in school. They are. I mean, yeah, Bucky he's 18 and he's really on his own. But for Polly and Yago, it was, you know, every spring is a period of growth, and for the kids to be growing into this, it was actually, and it still is, um, nice to be able to spend more time with them,
Of course it is.
and get into music, and be, for instance, be around them and have them be around me more. I have a piano here. I've got my guitars, and I'm
That's what
the,
I'm
the
talking.
process. So
You
the
have.
process of writing,
Mm-hmm.
is actually a process normally of solitude. Now I gotta bridge that somehow. I have to compartmentalize my time, and if I have a riff, and I need to get in deeper. I spend like half the night here, and I sleep like 5 hours, and so because obviously we need to produce, and even in the circumstance that we have now, we're getting, of course, Mocha FD is high in demand, so we are getting offers, and thankfully we got that show with Arte. That Arte show is our saving grace, because it's on the eve of Corona that we have a high-profile TV show, and that is really helping us.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other ideas for new format that somehow on a high quality level try and bridge the time until we'll be able to get back into normal, if ever. I don't know. There's, in every way, people are adapting. I know about script writers for movies that they adapt the scripts so that people are not in the same room, and so we are adapting as well. But you know what? New music and new songs, new material has to be delivered anyway. And I found something really beautiful and dark, and I found this great song that I wrote when Kurt Cobain died. And I have a very powerful feeling. And you know what happened? I had a meeting with Tom and Achim, right? 2 days ago, and they were over the moon about our album. Achim's like, I love Süße Lügen. Tell Mario, I really love it. And Tom was like, he was literally freaking out over Snake, right? So I'm thinking, and oh, by the way, in the fourth season, they're back in Mocha FD. It's happening again. I was in the room where they're writing, and it's all like, so somehow I've only 2 days ago I stumbled on this song. It's called "Join the Club," and I have like a list of songs that and thankfully, like Turquoise, there's so much back catalog that I'm now rethinking and kind of adapting. So I'm excited, and I think Mario is piling up stuff. So we're getting back together in the end of July, August. And the idea is that we will actually be recording a live concert that will be in the studio. And so part of what we do might end up actually ending up on the record.
I love the idea.
Because you somehow need to make use of what we have.
Yes.
And I think everybody does that,
Yeah. But don't you see on the social media, because I've noticed that people were stopped, artists especially, and they started just, I don't know, I'm not sure about it. They started to put everything they have, this creative wave appeared on social media, and you open something and then you see, and it's just, for me, it was just too much. And I thought, just why, it's such a social and psychological thing, people feel that they are not needed anymore, and then they put everything, they show everything they created. And for me, it's so far away, because even when it's not Corona, I'm not, me, perfectionist. I need to be sure 100%, and then to put it on, on the spotlight. But people, they started to show everything, and for me, it's just, are you sure? Why just don't wait a little bit? It's a great opportunity just to be sure in what you're doing. What do you think about it?
People are not patient enough, and people are, and it might sound harsh, but I think initially it was okay. I mean, there's people that just have that mentality. They love doing street music, They love going out there, and they hate the production process. They hate the perfectionism. They actually take it as an opportunity to show, bang, here I am, next thing you know, and then, you know, yeah. So it's back to street level. For some people, that's their mentality.
Even sometimes
And
when it's a great song, for example, a great performance or a live performance, sometimes I just think, just wait, just don't put it as, you know, this fast food, social, you know, coronavirus fast food. You know, it became this corona fast food, what I see when I open, because it's just, it's impatience, you know. But I understand artists, they are like that. They are impatient. They need
yeah,
to
there's
stage. I don't, for example. I enjoy being in the shadow because I always love that. And just to appear and disappear, appear and disappear. It's a great opportunity just to rethink some stuff. You know?
Yeah, but we also love the spotlight, and once it's there, we grab it and really make sure it's there. It's the spotlight. So there's no two ways about. There's no. It's binary. It's either right and full on, or we enjoy being in hiding, or being in the process of developing something. And I just think the social media is and what we are doing now is kind of social media. We are, but some people, I mean, we all have become broadcasters and recipients at the same time, haven't we? In every way. And I'm really excited about what's going on in America, and I have so many friends over there. And I just thought this morning how great that I can actually participate, even remotely, with what's happening in New York, because obviously with my friends over there, they've been marching the past 2-3 weeks, and of course there's demonstrations here.
Yeah,
we
had the demonstration in Vilnius even.
You know, and Berlin, but it's nothing remotely like in the States. In the States, you really feel there's a seismic shift finally, you know, and that's kind of taken over. It's also taken over my focus, and I honestly didn't have time for much of the performances that people have put out. It's just been too much. I was overwhelmed, and I'm overwhelmed anyways by all the things on social media. You have to totally select, of course. And no, it's a transition period, and sometimes I look at stuff from before Corona, like our performance, or I saw this band, the Black Lips. We had them at our show in Iron Hit 2 years ago, and it was like a stunning moment. And I thought to myself, when are we gonna get back to that kind of innocence? Because I have a feeling that if ever, it's going to take a long time for the world to overcome the fear. It's actually fear breeding fear. And that's why I'm saying I'm even more cautious now than I was a few weeks ago, because I feel it's kind of established itself. For people to go back into shows as innocent and free,
precious
as it used to be.
Precious.
It will take more than a vaccine. People will have, somehow make sure with an app or being tested before going into a show, some crazy shit. And I'm worried about that. I'm not worried for music, because I know that music at some point, it's as important as air and water and nutrition. And so is acting, so is painting. It's not going to go away, but the whole process.
It depends from so many stuff, because, when everything stopped here in Lithuania and the government is like ignoring all the time, then you start to think, are we needed? All my friends, I mean, I'm not talking about myself because I'm a little bit, I have this different philosophy. I have a family, I have a son, it's so precious. I just can't live, I love to live because I had no time for 15 years just to stay and live. I worked so hard. And then after I stopped, it was okay. It was a gift. But for other people, for my husband, for example, he's a young director. And, the questions, so we just discussed so much, about this, are we needed in the future? Because, the world is going around, how to live, economical crisis, appears. And the artist, are we needed? What do you think? Because I don't know. I don't know the answer, to this question. Do you feel needed as an artist?
In a somewhat liberal and somewhat free and democratic society, yes, we are. If we're in a different society, which is the whole battle, that's the battle with Erdogan, that's the battle with Bolsonaro, that's the battle with Putin, that's the battle with Trump. Not so much.
Yeah, not so.
Yes, we are needed.
Yeah.
Yes, we are needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At some point, it might actually cause a reaction that's a lot harsher than we are able to imagine now. At some point, people might just rise up and say, what the fuck? Now that's going to be interesting because the whole economy is going to be tied to, no, we've got rules and the money has to go the way the rules work. That's interesting. Interesting things is like things like the real estate market in Berlin. That's going to be interesting. But that's years from now. We can't even see that. But maybe in 2 years, if there's a prolonged crisis, all those apartments that are bank accounts, walk-in bank accounts for like literally thousands of rich people, they're just going to get rid of it. No. And all of a sudden, Berlin is going to be back cheap. I don't mind.
Me too.
I don't mind.
You can buy a flat at last.
So there's part of me that's actually welcoming a change of rules.
But that's, yeah, in one way it's good.
When I saw it when the wall came down. I was 26, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's with that experience, I'm not so negative. It's just I'm unsure, but not in a negative way. It's just,
yeah, me too. No, it's a rhetorical question. It's more like, for me, it's a perfect time to look again to yourself and to do what you want to do. Your own, I don't know, individual way. It's a perfect opportunity. For me, for example, it's a really good, pushing moment. Start shooting. Start saying no for many things.
Have you been offered things?
Yeah.
In terms of movies?
Yeah. But when it's in Russia, they cannot understand the situation because now in Russia it's really it's hot moment right now there. But some people, they don't want to believe it, or they don't get the information from the government. Maybe they hide a lot of stuff. And I cannot promise them that I will come because I'm not sure if I want to come. You know what I mean?
Mm.
How can you how can you prove that I'm gonna be safe there? You know, if we talk about Berlin, it's okay. I can come tomorrow. You know.
Well, and we expecting you. We can't wait.